Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Laksita Larastiti with student number 230204051, and in this video I will show my final result of my ICT lesson plan. Okay, so now I will explain about my lesson plan first. So the materials of my lesson plan is recount text. The skill is reading and writing skills. And then I have the profile of Pancasila or character of Pancasila student here. Then for the teaching tools, media and source. For the teaching tools, there are LCD projector, laptop, whiteboard, and board marker. And then for the teaching media, there are PowerPoint slides, Quizlize, website, and Google Forms. Then for the teaching source, there are internet source and English textbook. And then for the student, this lesson plan is for grade 10 or phase E student. And then for the teaching method, this lesson plan use project-based learning. For the time, it's 2 times 45 minutes or 1 meeting for the senior high school level. This is the learning outcome. So because this lesson plan has 2 skills, so this is the reading and also the writing learning outcome. Okay, so the learning outcome, by the end of phase E, students read and respond to a variety of texts such as narrative, description, brochure, exposition, recount, and report. They read to learn or to find information. They locate and evaluate specific details and main ideas of variety of texts. These texts may be in the form print of or digital text, including visual, multimodal, or interactive text. They are developing understanding of main ideas, issue, or plot development in a variety of texts. They identify the author's purposes and are developing simple inferential skills to help them understand implied information from the text, and the student be able to write a variety of fiction and non-fiction texts through guided activities, showing an awareness of purpose and audience. And then they plan and write a range of text type with some evidence of self-correction strategies, including punctuation and capitalization. They express ideas and use common or daily vocabulary and verbs in their writing. And then for the learning objective, there are 3 learning objectives. The first one is, after reading a recount text provided by the teacher, student will be able to analyze the generic structure of the recount text, like orientation, events, and reorientation correctly, which is C4. And then the second, after completing the digital quiz, student will be able to evaluate the main ideas and specific information from the recount text by answering at least 7 out of 10 questions correctly, which is C5. And then by the end of the lesson and using the Google Forms provided by the teachers, student will be able to create an individual recount text about my unforgettable experience, consisting of 150 until 200 words with the correct structure of recount text, which is C6. And then for the learning activities, the first activity is the introduction, and then the first with 10 minutes. So the first one, student will greet the teacher, and then one student will lead the prayer, and then the teacher checks student attendance. Student with teacher read the learning objective together and briefly discuss what they will learn today. And then the student will respond to warm-up questions such as, what did you do last weekend? And have you ever had an unforgettable experience? And then the student will observe a short example of a recount text displayed by the teacher. And then in pairs, students will discuss what they think the text is about and share their ideas in the class or on the platform. And the next activities is core activities. The first core activities is determining an essential question in with 20 minutes. The first one, the teacher will introduce the topic, which is a recount text, and explain material that student will learn about the material. And then the teacher will show the learning goals or learning objective and the final project of this meeting, which is creating a recount text about their unforgettable moment and submit it on Google Forms. And then the student will read a short recount text displayed on the screen. And then in pairs, the student will discuss a coding question such as what is the text about, when did the event happen, and then what happened first. And then the student will share their answer with the class on the collaborate board. Student then identify the structure of the recount text, like the orientation, events, and reorientation with teacher guidance. And then next core activities is designing project planning with 15 minutes. First one, student will scan the QR code provided by the teacher using their phones, and then the student will access a digital quiz related to the recount text material. And then the quiz consists of 10 questions, including multiple choices question and true or false question. And then the student will complete the quiz individually as a formative assessment to check their understanding of the material given by the teacher. Next core activity is organizing activity schedule with 5 minutes time allocation. And then after finishing the quiz, students will discuss their answer with their peers informally. And then the class will discuss about the correct answer together. And then the student will analyze the main ideas, sequence of events, and important vocabulary found in text. Then student will take notes of important points about the recount text structure and language features. Next activities is processing and presenting project result with 30 minutes. The first one, the student will receive instruction for an individual mini project titled My Unforgettable Experience. And then student will access the Google Forms link shared by the teacher. Then student will write a short recount text about their personal unforgettable experience. Then the text should contain at least 150 until 200 words and follow the right structure such as orientation, events, and reorientation. And then the student will work independently while the teacher provides guidance when necessary. Next, monitoring project progress. So student will ask questions if they encounter difficulties while writing. Then student review their writing to ensure that their text has the correct structure and sequence of events. And then the teacher will monitor student progress and provide feedback for them. And then the last core activities is evaluating project and providing a reflection with 5 minutes time allocation. Student will submit their recount text through Google Forms link provided by the teachers, and then student will reflect on learning process by answering questions such as what did you learn about recount text material today, and then what part of the lesson helped you understand the text better, and then what difficulties did you face while reading or writing. And then some students will voluntarily share their reflection or their answer or their difficulties with the class. And then the next activities is the closing. So the closing with 5 minutes time with 5 minutes. For the closing, the teacher will summarize the key learning outcomes of the day. And then the teacher will give motivational feedback and praise the student by saying, you did great today. I believe your writing will be amazing, and don't forget to always learn and improve. Be better. And then the teacher will close this lesson with a prayer or greeting. And then next is the assessment. So the first assessment is formative assessment. The formative assessment will be the digital quiz, and then the summative assessment will be the recount text about my unforgettable experience or the individual project. Then this is for the lampiran. The material I use a presentation from Nearpod. And then for the I also input the link of the Google Form link and then the quiz link. And then there is the summative assessment or a rubric assessment for the recount or the individual project. So this is the table. There are five criteria here. There are general structure, content, grammar, vocabulary, and mechanic, such as spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. And then this is the scores that I will give to the student based on the criteria they have. Okay, and for the scoring calculation, the maximum score is 20, and then the final scores or the final grade is total score divided by the maximum score and will be times by 10 by 100, I mean. Yeah, so that's all for the lesson plan. And now I will showing the materials or the ICT. Okay, so this is the website name Nearpod. So I make my material presentation on this website using this website, and then we're gonna preview the lesson. Okay, so this is the lesson preview or my material presentation review. So the title is My Unforgettable Experience, a Journey into Recon Text, Reading and Writing Skills for Grade 10 with English subject. This is the slide 2. Second slide, I put the learning objective here. And then this is the guiding question. Let's answer this question. What do you do last weekend? Have you ever had an unforgettable experience? And then did you tell other people about the experience? And the student will just answer this question. What's it called? Like just share it. And then this is the example. This is an example of a recount text. It's just with no right structure, something like that. And then for the slide 6, this is the pair discussion, and the student will be able to give their ideas or opinion about this question. So the question is, what do you think the tech is about, and what did the event happen, and then what happened first in the recount text. So the student will as mentioned before, in pairs answer this question, and then the answer will be appear here. And then this is the multiple choice. There are 4 questions, 2 like pre-lesson, something like that. So it's to checking the student understanding about this material before they learn deep about recount text. So this is the recount text that recount text, the same one with the previous one, and then but this is with the general structure. And then this is we starting to going to the material. So this is the definition of the recount text. This is the social function of recount text or the purposes of recount text. And then this is the generic structure of the recount text. One, this one, and then this is the language features of recount text. This one. And then this is the instruction for the quiz on Quizlice website. So this is the instruction. Go to the Quizlice website and then join the class, and then complete the question, and then aim for score at least 7 of 10. Yeah, something like that. And then the next slide is the QR code. So the student can scan this QR code to join the class to complete the quiz. Okay, so this is the next activities, which the student will write their own recount text on the Google Forms, like that. And then yeah, this is the last slide. Okay, so now this is the look of the quiz website. I use a website name Quizlice, and then we're gonna trying to play a student. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna try it. Okay, so it will be like this. So it will be like this. So at the end of the quiz, the student will get their own score, like that. And then, yeah, as the teacher, we can view the activities of the quiz that I made, like this. We can just view the which student has answered this question, and then which question is difficult, something like that. There's also a result table here, and you can just download it, I think. Yeah. And then the last one is the Google form. So this is the Google form. Yeah, this is the Google form for the submission, project submission, individual recount text. So the student will just write their name, their class, and their recount text, their own recount text about their unforgettable experience. Okay, so that is my lesson plan and also the ICT that I use in my lesson plan. Okay, so that was a video of my final result of my lesson plan. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.